Hello everyone, and welcome to our Getting Started with MessageBird webinar. Today, you'll be learning how to take your first steps on both our inbox and flow builder tools, guided by our customer success experts, Gary and Jenya. They have been working with customers just like yourself to get them up and running in our platform, and today they will be simulating exactly these interactions between the customer success manager, who is Gary, and the customer that is just getting started on the MessageBird platform, will be represented by Jenya. The webinar has a duration of roughly 30 to 40 minutes, and then at the end, there will be some extra time to ask questions, but you can already start submitting your questions and continue to submit them throughout the entire session on the right-hand side of your screen. We hope you enjoy it and find it to be an insightful session. Thank you so much for joining, and without further ado, Gary and Jenya, the floor is yours.
Excellent. Thanks, Joanna. So, welcome to MessageBird, Jenya. Are you able to tell me a little bit more about your business and what your use case is?
Yes, hello. So we're quite a small business in e-commerce, and what we do is we sell online courses in different languages. So what we're trying to solve is we communicate with customers on a few different channels, and it's becoming a lot to handle. So what we want to do is to unify all the communication in one place, and that's why we decided to go ahead with MessageBird. So I hope you can tell me more about it today.
Excellent. No, I'm sure we can certainly help you out there and come up with a solution that will fit your requirements. So what I have on my screen at the moment is Inbox, and this is our contact center or ticketing system. So the first thing you can see is on the left-hand side, you have the icon for the user, where you can see the name and the status for the user. So as you can see, when I am available, the status is green. However, if I select offline, the icon is now gray and all of the tickets disappear. If I switch to busy, the tickets also don't appear. However, I can still communicate via live chat if that's a channel that you decided to use. What we also have is the languages. So these are the default languages that we have in Inbox, which you can select on the right. And we also have the profile settings. So through the profile settings, you can edit and upload a new profile picture and also enable notifications for Inbox.
Okay, is there also a way to modify notifications?
Unfortunately not. So with the notifications toggled on, this means that an auditory notification is used to notify the user that a new Inbox ticket has arrived, and that's based on the web browser. So you will need to enable those settings on the web browser, and unfortunately, we do not have any options for the operating system itself.
Okay.
Right, so going back to the home screen of Inbox, you can see we have 3 tabs at the top. So these are unassigned, we also have assigned, and then we also have resolved. So as you can see here, if I hover over a ticket, you'll see the accept button. So if I select this ticket, it automatically gets moved into the inbox.
Okay.
Down the bottom, we have our new text box, which you can resize, and there have been some UI elements changed. But just like WhatsApp, you can type the message. And like the app, you'll notice that once the message has been sent and delivered, you'll see the 2 ticks, as you can see here.
Nice.
If you have a contact that has contacted you on different channels, you can select or switch the channels via the channels option here. Okay, so what we also have within the text box is the canned replies. So canned replies are commonly used replies or responses to customers that you can pre-populate, and when selected, send out to customers quickly. So for your business, Jenya, do you have any canned replies that you would need to set up?
I think we use a lot of the same welcoming messages and closing messages, so that would be something that would be nice to automate, so to say.
Great. So in this instance, I have a password reset can reply option. And as you can see, once I select the password reset, it populates a text box and I can instantly send that off.
Got it.
Great. What you'll also see is we have the note button. So what this note does is it's an internal note for other team members within Inbox. So here you can leave some important information. So again, potentially for your use case, you may want to add the courses that the customer has already signed up to. So example, Cooking 101. Okay. Once it's saved, you'll see that there is a yellow text box to indicate that it is an internal note and that the customer cannot see that.
Okay, can I only leave notes on my own tickets, or can I also leave notes on other agents' tickets?
Great question. So no, you're not limited by adding notes to tickets that are assigned to you. You can create notes to any ticket. So all you'll need is the URL and for the specific ticket. And once you navigate to the ticket, anyone can add a note. So if you do need to add a note, you'll just need that URL.
Oh yeah, got it.
Great. So something else I do want to touch on specifically with WhatsApp is, are you aware of session and template messages?
No, not at all.
Okay, so with the WhatsApp application, when a user responds or sends a message to the WhatsApp channel, that opens up a 24-hour session window. So during that window, you can communicate as you regularly would through the app and send anything you like. However, once that 24-hour session elapses, you can no longer reach out to that customer, which you can see here on your screen. So the only way to re-engage with that user is to send a template message. So a template message is a pre-approved template that Facebook has reviewed and approved.
Okay, and where can I submit these template messages?
Excellent. So these template messages are created within Dashboard, and I will show you that shortly.
Okay, cool.
But to select the template message, you can select the template button in the bottom right-hand corner, and then you can select the template and send that off to the user to try and re-engage that user.
Got it.
Right, sorry about that noise, not quite sure what that is. What we also have in the ticket is tags. So for your business, would you have different teams or departments that are responsible for certain tickets?
Yeah, we are a small team, but we still do have 2 different departments. And the main pain for us right now is that we have sales and support, and sometimes sales, they pick up tickets for support and the other way around. So we would love to separate those two, so it would be sales and support.
Great. So in this instance, once the tickets are routed, if a ticket does land in the wrong queue, to reassign those tickets, you can select tags, select the correct team, apply, and then you can return the ticket back into the queue. And once the routing is configured correctly, that will mean only the sales team will be able to see that ticket, and then support will no longer be able to see that ticket.
Okay, nice. Do we also have an option to assign it to a specific person rather than the whole department?
Yes, certainly. So as you can see here in the top left-hand corner, we have assigned, and at the moment it's assigned to myself. So if I need to assign this to a different user, I can select the assigned and then press or select the team member I would like to assign the ticket to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's easy.
Another item, is that obviously Inbox and Flow Builder is designed so that we have one continuous thread of communication for your customers. So if you ever do need to check a previous ticket or the chat history, You can see when we scroll to the top of the screen, you do have the other tickets there that you can see and select.
Okay, can we also, if we want to continue working on the ticket, can we go back and reopen it, so to say?
Yes, so you can select a previous ticket and then select open, and that will reopen that specific ticket. But just bear in mind that if you have a ticket after this ticket, the communication thread may look a little bit out of order. So we do recommend that you keep or reopen the latest ticket.
Yeah, no problem.
Great. So what you'll also see in the ticket view is we have statuses. So on the status, we have active, pending, on hold, and blocked. And what this does is once selected, it means it's a little bit, it makes it easier for an agent to categorize and prioritize their work. So as you can see here, it is now showing as pending both on the ticket and in the ticket or the assigned queue.
Okay, nice.
Great. What we also have is on the right-hand side, the contact details. So if you do ever need to edit a ticket, we can select the ellipses and edit contact, and then update the information that is required.
Okay, we have some extra information that we keep for the customers. And for example, if it's the order number or the course name, I can also add it in the contact.
Yes, so through the extra information, we can select add attribute. And let's say the extra information is courses. And then you could add the course. So again, clicking 101.
Okay.
And that's now done. And you'll see that extra information on the right-hand side also.
Great.
Excellent. So once that ticket is complete and you want to resolve it, all you need to do is select the resolve button, and that then moves the ticket into the resolve queue.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So moving forward onto the contacts. So again, as I mentioned earlier, Inbox is built on creating a single thread of communication for a single contact, regardless of which channel or communication platform they use to reach out to you. So it's important that if you are looking to utilize multiple channels, that you import contacts with the unique identifiers that each platform requires. So an example of that is Facebook does have a numeric code, whereas although it's sort of similar, WhatsApp uses a user's phone number. So it is important to note which platforms you are using, and then if you do need to know which unique identifier that platform uses, just let someone know at MessageBird.
Okay, can I also see an example of the file that I have to upload?
Certainly. So in the import contacts option, we do have a sample CSV file, which you can download and import into Inbox.
Okay, nice.
Great. So this is the sections that an agent can see. I'm now going to go into settings, and this option is only available for administrators, and I'll just quickly cover the most commonly used items within these settings. So in the real-time screen, you can see information at a glance about the team and the agents that are currently online. So as you can see here, we have the availability, the number of tickets, and whether or not they're on live chat. And we also have stats such as the average response time and average resolution time.
Mm-hmm.
You can also configure this based on platforms and queues. If we go into the overview, again, we see the same information. However, this information is displayed based on the time period.
Mhm.
What we also have is the heat map. So the heat map is a really cool feature that is a way to visualize the busiest period for the team or the agents. So what you see is on the y-axis you have days, and on the x-axis you have the time, where 0 is midnight and 23 is 11 p.m. So as you can see here at 9 a.m. and on Wednesday we have the busiest period for this team, and the darker the color or the darker the shade of blue and the higher the number, the busier the period.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely useful for us. We track a lot in our business, but we're just gathering all this data in a different app. So is there a way to also download this data, or is it only available if I go to Inbox?
Great question. So we do have some data that's available via CSV. So it's the information that you can see on the real-time and the overview screen. You can download this to a CSV file using this button. So the product and engineering teams are looking at making this available on other file formats such as PDF and Excel, but for now it's only available on CSV.
Okay, that's fine. CSV works as well.
Right. So moving forward to the channels. So the channels is an overview as to which channels you have installed. So in this instance, I have Messenger, live chat, and WhatsApp. But if you do need to add new channels, you can add them by following the wizard found here. So the two of the newest channels that we have available are now Instagram and Google Business Messages. So something to note about Instagram is that the minimum or prerequisite for installing Instagram as a channel is that you do need to have at least 1,000 followers.
Okay.
Great. So moving to the canned replies. So I showed you these earlier, and this is where you create those canned replies. So it's as simple as selecting the Add Canned Reply button, and you can either select the category or create a new category. So you mentioned welcome messages earlier. So again, you can create a new category of welcome messages, create a name, and enter the text for the canned reply that you would like to create.
Okay, if it changes over time, can I also edit it somewhere?
Definitely. So as you can see here, we have the list of current canned replies. And again, if you want to edit the text, you can select the ellipses and the edit button. And from here, you can make the changes to the canned reply.
Okay, clear.
Excellent. So going through to tags and skills. So you mentioned earlier that it's mostly sales and support teams that will be picking up tickets. Are there any other teams or departments or specific routing that you would like to create?
I think for now, only these two. We plan to have new teams, of course, in the future, but for now, yeah, it would be support and sales.
Great. So in this test account, I already have the sales and support tags. And we also have the sales and support skills. So with the tags, a tag is a way to categorize a ticket, and that's done in Flow Builder, which I'll show you shortly. And then the skills are a way of routing tickets to specific agents. So generally, you have tags and skills that match each other, but that's not always the case, as you may want to report on specific skills, report on specific tags, but not route based on those tags.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, a question. I can see how to add skills and tags, but I don't see a way to delete it or edit. So is that possible as well?
So unfortunately, you cannot delete tags or skills once created. However, you can make tags invisible if you no longer need to use those tags. So again, it's as simple as unchecking the tag that you don't want to see, and that saves it automatically.
Oh, okay. I guess we just have to think twice.
Yes, certainly recommend being very careful about the tags and skills, especially if you have a lot to set up.
Okay.
Right, so moving through to the routing, and I'm going to the advanced routing. So the first step in creating the routing is to create a queue. So in this instance, I will just create an engineering, just so you can see what it looks like. The responsibility will be the skill, and generally we would have an engineering tag. So that's how you create a queue. Once you have the queue created, you can then set up the routing in the routing step. So to create the routing, we would select add path. We can give the name of path, so again, could be engineering. The responsibility will be a tag that we want to look at, and we would pick the engineering tag here. Then we would set up the routing steps, which is deciding where the tickets will actually go. And in this instance, we would pick the engineering queue because we would want the engineering tickets, or the tickets with the engineering tag, to then land in the engineering queue. We also have the time limit option. So what this means, or what this does, is once this time limit exceeds, tickets will then be routed to the default queue.
Okay. When it comes to time, can we also set it to unlimited time, let's say?
Unfortunately, we don't have a specific setting for unlimited, but you can set the max value for the time limit, which is 6 nines.
Okay.
And the default queue doesn't have to be the default queue, and you can select a default queue of your choosing.
Okay, cool.
Excellent. So moving through to agents. So agents is probably one of the most important screens, as you need to add the team members here. So simple as selecting the add agent button, filling in the information and the role. So again, I mentioned earlier that we have agent or admin. Agents can only see the home, tickets, and contact screen, whereas the admin can also access the settings screen, which we're currently in. So just be something to note about the admin role is that admins can see all information for the entire inbox. So if you do have different departments, they may be able to see tickets or stats on other teams or departments. So just be careful about who you grant that admin role to.
Okay, that's clear.
Excellent. And then we can set the responsibilities. So we have languages, skills, or platforms. So the platforms being the channels. The most commonly set responsibilities are the skills. And we can select the add skill here and select the skill and the skill level if required.
Okay.
Great. So something else to note is that I would suggest getting the agents to bookmark the inbox URL. Reason being, we have seen in the past many agents try to log in via dashboard, but dashboard is generally where administrators with higher rights go to log in. But for inbox users, they should be logging in via the inbox URL.
Okay, no problem.
Perfect. So do you, one final thing is in the top right-hand corner, you also notice the What's New button. And this is where we publish all of the new features, both in inbox and in dashboard or flow builder. So if you do want to read more, you can select read more. And this is where we publish new features.
Okay, great.
Great. So moving over to dashboard. So earlier you mentioned setting up WhatsApp templates, and we can do this in dashboard. So firstly, I did just want to cover in the side menu, you can change the option for how it is displayed. So you can either have the icons or both the icons and the words. So that's personal preference. But in the WhatsApp option, we have the template manager, and here is where we create WhatsApp template messages. So again, it's as simple as selecting the create template button, entering the details such as the name and the category, and then sending that through to Facebook for approval. But something that is new is we do have buttons, which are really cool and make it a lot quicker for end users to respond. So an example will be using a quick reply. If I say add yes, save, you can also have no. As you can see, once you do have the buttons, as a user, this is what they will see, and they can quickly click the reply that they want to send back to you.
Okay, great. And from my understanding, once I submit this template, I can't use it straight away. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. So because these template messages are pre-approved by Facebook, they obviously need to review this information before approving. So what we've seen in the past is it can take approximately 1 to 2 days for Facebook to review and then come back with a decision as to whether or not that template has been approved or not.
Okay, no, that's quite fast.
Yes. So moving forward onto Flow Builder. So Flow Builder is essentially the engine that drives Inbox. And this is also where you can build automations into your processes. So the first step when creating a new flow is that you get asked for a trigger type. So what you can do is select either the webhook or the specific platform that you want to communicate on, or you can also select the omni-channel trigger. So we generally recommend the omni-channel trigger just because it's sort of future-proofs the flow, and so that if you do want to add a new channel in future to the specific flow, you can do so. So once the omni-channel trigger has been selected, as you can see here, you can select the channels that you would like to flow in to the specific flow. And what we commonly see with our customers is the date and time step. So with this date and time step, you can configure business hours. So as you can see, by default, we have 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Okay, can we also add a lunch pause in this time?
Certainly. So if you would like to add a lunch break, all you need to do is select a new oral. But we also need to edit this step. So we want it, let's say the lunch starts at 12. So we want the first time to be from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then in the next or step, we want that starting from, let's say, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay, that's good.
So as you can see now, we have the +1, and that indicates that there is another time schedule set.
Got it.
Great. So once we have the 2 branches, this is where you can start to customize the user experience. So if a customer reaches you outside of business hours, you could leave a message letting them know that you are closed. So sorry, you have contacted us outside of business hours. We will get that to you shortly. Another common step that we see being utilized is a welcome menu. So again, this allows the customer to tell you or dictate which department or team they want to speak to. So, hi there, please type the number of the team you would like to speak to. And then again, using your examples, we have sales
And
support. So once we have that welcome message, what we want to do now is to use a wait for response step. So what the wait for response step does is it captures what the customer replies with, and then we can use that as a variable within the flow, and that'll make a little bit more sense shortly. So firstly, we need to give this wait for response step a name. You can also select the timeout. So by default, we have it at 3 minutes, but you can change that to days or months if required. I will call this menu.
Do I have to give it a specific name, or can it be just random one?
So no, you can select any name that you like, but we do recommend using the same naming convention throughout the flows, because as the flow grows, it may be harder to identify which step may be causing issues or certain steps you want to change.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Great. So now that we have created the wait for response step, we can create the branch step. And I want to move that up here, sorry. So with the branch, what we are going to do is we are going to branch based on the message content, and we are looking at the wait for response, which is in this case called the menu. What you can do is if you enter the 2 squiggly lines, Flow Builder will prompt the recommended variables or the options that are available. But I will just type I'm not sure why that is not working. Okay, apologies, menu. And we want 1 for sales. And then what we can also do is create another branch for the support. And as you can see here, we do have some smarts behind this, and the branch was actually pre-populated already with the same variable that was used in branch 1. So it makes it a lot quicker, and all I need to do is enter 2.
Is it also possible to have more than 2 branches?
Certainly. So you can have as many branches as you like, but just bear in mind that the flow may become quite wide. So navigation may be slightly more difficult depending on how many branches you have.
Yeah, get it.
Okay, this was the yes, and then so for number 1, again, now that we are breaking it down or getting to a more granular level, we can start to ask more meaningful information from the user. So branch 1 was for sales, so something that may be salient or important to a sales team is the account number. So what is your account? Okay. And again, we can capture this information using the wait for response step. Now that we have the account number, we can now use this variable. So there's many ways you can use these variables again within the flow, and I'll just quickly show you a couple of ways. So again, you could use this in a message. So as an example, you could confirm the account number, such as was, and again, using the squiggly brackets, account number correct. Or alternatively, you could use this information and also update the contact details. So again, as I mentioned earlier, it's important we capture the different unique identifiers, identifiers for the different platforms that you use to communicate to the customers. So you can capture that information in this update inbox context step. But But if you want to add custom attributes, all you need to do is select add attribute, create the key, which will be account number, and then the value will be the account number that we have just captured.
Okay, that's great.
Perfect. Now that we have catered or created a customer journey for the sales line, the final step is to create an inbox ticket.
Mhm.
And this step is really important, as this is what actually sends or creates the tickets and sends them to inbox. So again, because this is the sales branch, I want to ensure that I tag the sales team.
Mhm. That's easy. Also, once we build this whole branch, this whole flow, can I just copy it so I don't have to do that for the next branch all over again?
Great question. So yes, you can copy steps. So if you want or need to copy an individual step, you can hold the Option key on a Mac or the Alt key on a Windows machine and left click, and then you can drag the step to the place where you want that step to be.
Mhm.
If you want to copy multiple steps, you can also do this, and to do so you hold the Command key on a Mac or the Control key on a Windows machine and left click the steps you would like to copy. So something to note about the multi-step copy is that you can only copy steps that are within the same branch.
Mhm.
So what I mean by that is I cannot select, say, this branch step or this wait for a response step because it's on a different layer or tier or branch.
Mhm.
So once you have highlighted or selected the steps that you would like to copy, you can select this copy icon here, and now it's been copied to my clipboard. And if I select add step, I can now paste directly from my clipboard, and you can see the steps have automatically been copied across. So
Nice.
something to note is you will need to rename the steps so that it's clear that these are for the
Yeah.
sales branch and this is for support. So again, you could, instead of account number, you might want a ticket number, and then you could change the step to ticket. Um, and obviously the most important one, I haven't updated the inbox, but you will need to do that also.
Mhm.
But most importantly as well, you will need to update the tag so it goes to the right team.
Mhm. That's clear.
Great. Something else about the flow is you'll notice that this particular configuration is expecting either a 1 or a 2, and anything else goes down the else branch.
Mhm.
So what we generally do is we have a reply to channel message step, and what you can do here is let the customer know that we didn't recognize their response. So we did not recognize. Okay, so that option. Please retype the number. Okay, so once we have that message or the user receives that message, what we can do is use the jump step. The jump step allows you to reroute the user or this branch to anywhere in the flow. So in this specific example, I would like to route them back to this wait for response step so that we are waiting for them to enter either a 1 or a 2 so that they get to the place that they want to be.
Makes sense.
Excellent. So do you have any final questions there, Jania?
No, I think that was clear.
Great. Well, that's the end of the onboarding, and I look forward to working with you again in future. But if you do have any questions, feel free to let me know.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys, for such an insightful session. And now we do have 5 minutes for questions. And we did receive a few questions from our customers or the people watching us. So the first one of our watchers would like to know how can they see all tickets in inbox?
Okay, so I'll probably take that since I have the screen open. So if you navigate to inbox, and again, this depends on whether or not you're an administrator or not, but you do have the option to filter. And what we often see is sometimes you may select, let's say Pete and Maria, two different tags, so support and sales. But something to note about our filters or the filters in inbox is that they are and options. So it will be filtering for all tickets that are both sales and support. So to ensure that you do view all of the tickets, just unselect the two options and then see all and apply.
Perfect. We hope that answers your question. And some other question we have is if people can create their own inbox tickets.
I can answer it. So if you want to if you have the number for your business and you want to create an inbox ticket, you can just text this number from your own number, and that will basically be your ticket to your business itself. So I hope that answers the question, and maybe Carrie can add
Yes.
something.
So yeah, like Genia said, to create an inbox ticket, you will need to be go through the flow first. There's no way to sort of create a new ticket from the screen if that's what you're asking. So the only way to create the ticket is via the flow.
I think maybe this person is asking how to start an outbound conversation with their users. Is there a way to do this, Carrie and Jenny?
Okay,
Yes.
so you can use template messages to contact your customer. And the other way would be, we have a beta version of the outbound messaging. So if you are keen on taking part in it, you can always reach out to support and we will be happy to enable it for you.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Jenny. Yeah, this option is available. In the current workspace we are working on, it's actually, we are not able to show you. But if you want this option enabled in your account, just reach out to support. You just let them know your workspace ID that you can find under account settings. And then you just ask them to enable outbound messaging for you, okay? And then you'll be able to do it. And we have a couple more minutes, so there are a couple other questions. A customer is also interested in knowing how can they delete channels.
Great. So if you need to delete a channel, you can navigate to the dashboard, and what we have is the channels option. So depending on the channel, you can select it, and then you can select the trash can icon to delete the channel. Just something to note about the WhatsApp channels specifically is that even though you delete a WhatsApp channel, you can no longer use that number with the WhatsApp mobile app.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Carrie. And I guess there is time for one final question. So I think some people will know that Instagram is a recent channel we launched, and we have a few people asking about this channel and how they can add them.
So
Maybe Jenya, yeah.
yeah, you have to keep in mind, as Carrie mentioned, that you should have more than 1,000 subscribers. But if you go to the channels tab, you have the option to choose out of all the channels that we offer, and Instagram is one of them. It's the self-serve onboarding. So once you go through the steps in it, you will have Instagram set up in 10, 15 minutes. And yeah, you can see it here in the tab at channels.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jania. And that's the end of the webinar. If there are any questions that we were not able to answer at this time, please email our support team at support@messagebird.com, and we will be more than happy to help with those. Thank you so much for attending. We hope this was an insightful session, and we will be publishing the webinar session on YouTube, and we will also forward you an email with an access link to it, okay? Thank you so much. Have a lovely day, and thank you so much, Carrie and Jania, for organizing this session.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you.